What's up, guys? So I would like to read to you the story of Raccoon City. We'll be reading up to the sequence of events until Leon and Claire arrive within the city, just to refresh your memory as we lead up to Resident Evil 2 Remake. If you enjoyed this video, I recommend you watch the other video in the series. So let's begin. Our story begins in May 1998. The experimental Queen Leech, which had merged with the deceased Dr. James Marcus, enacted vengeance on Umbrella by leaking the T-virus in the Arklay laboratory. Over the next months, the facility staff were infected by the virus and became zombies, or otherwise killed by escaped BOWs and irregular mutants. The creatures began to attack hikers in the Arklay Mountains, and a murder investigation by STARS was authorized in July. The investigation, which led to the deaths of more than half of the department, concluded that the deaths were indeed caused by a virus spill at an Umbrella facility. However, the physical evidence was lost when the STARS survivors, Jill, Chris, Rebecca, and Barry, activated the facility's self-destruct mechanism to prevent more creatures from escaping. In August, Umbrella made the Raccoon Chief of Police, Brian Irons, disbanded the department, viewing them as a threat to their affairs in the city and his private monetary relationship with the company. Dr. Birkin's underground laboratory's waste, contaminated with the T-virus, began to flood the newly commissioned incineration disposal plant P-12A, overloading on June 7th, with the facility's staff becoming zombies the next months. Before August 17th, reports became apparent that monsters were in the city. Umbrella began preparing for the inevitable, and its UBCS mercenaries were called into action on September 15th. In the days before the Raccoon City destruction incident officially began, the Raccoon General Hospital was already being filled with cases of a cannibal disease. Ready for a potentially large biohazard outbreak, Umbrella began conscripting men for its UBCS outfit, while its men being called into action as early as September 15th. By September 1998, Umbrella scientist William Birkin successfully completed his work on the G-Virus. Intending on selling his creation to the US military, Umbrella turned against him and set a USS unit to recover the G-Virus. They discovered Birkin in his lab preparing to escape, and during the scuffle, operatives shot Birkin. As Birkin lay dying, the operatives took the virus sample and led to the lab through the vast secret sewer system beneath Raccoon City, specifically the RPD. Before his death, Birkin successfully injected one of the G-virus samples into his body and transformed. Birkin then went on a rampage and chased the USS soldiers out of the lab and into the sewer, killing them there and destroying the vials containing the G and T viruses. The released virus spilled into the sewer and led the sewer rats to ingest it by both consuming it and feeding on the bodies of the USS. The rats then began spreading it to the surface, while the rest leaked into the city's water supply, infecting the inhabitants of the now doomed Raccoon City. By September 24th, the outbreak had reached epidemic levels in the city. Several people at Jay's bar managed to escape the streets, which by then were infested by zombies. Will the bartender and Bob, friend of fellow survivor Mark Wilkins, died in the attempted escape. The survivors destroyed a fuel truck and escaped to a small canal where they met officers at the Apple Inn on the other side. The survivors used a bomb to destroy the zombies on Main Street, where the police in charge were killed or wounded. Elsewhere, a helicopter carrying some 40 refugees crashed near the tram line, killing everybody inside. At 9 p.m., the Pentagon had the city quarantined and sent to the United States Army to restrict civilian movement. The roads were being barricaded by the following morning. By September 27th, Raccoon City was completely infected and all semblance of normal life had been destroyed as crashed and abandoned vehicles and destroyed bodies littered the streets and several buildings burned out of control due to the collapse of the Raccoon City Fire Department. Hordes of zombies filled the streets and overran the last remnants of the Raccoon City Police Department in a major battle on the streets on the night of September 27th, and soon after overran the police station itself, removing what was most likely the last safe zone in the city. Umbrella dispatched the UBCS to assist the police. In reality, the UBCS were actually just pawns used by Umbrella, while their man inside, Nikolai, acted as their leader and secretly collected data. The UBCS fared little better than the RPD in containing the zombies, with almost all those dispatched to the city killed by September 28th. On the night of September 27th, Jill Valentine, recently resigned from STARS, returned to the city after investigating Umbrella with Chris and Barry. The three of them made an agreement. Jill would continue her investigation within Raccoon, while Chris and Barry would go to Europe to investigate Umbrella's main HQ, with Jill rendezvousing with them later. When the outbreak hit, Jill stayed in her apartment while the zombies overran the city and the UBCS, and police tried to keep them at bay. She decides to make a run for it, and as former STARS member, she felt obligated to help any survivors. Meanwhile, Umbrella had already taken steps to kill the former surviving STARS members out of fear that they would expose their secrets, and deployed the Nemesis T-Type into the city amidst the chaos. Jill makes her way into a warehouse with Dario, where they waited out for another day before she finally gives up on waiting for a rescue party. Dario refuses to leave and locks himself in a crate. She stumbles onto former STARS member Brad by chance, saving him from a zombie attack. Although he is bitten and therefore infected, he warns her that they would not make it out because he's after STARS member and there's no escape. Jill heads to the police station, searching for any way out of the city. Brad runs to the station after her, warning her. He is then killed by the creature he previously mentioned, the Nemesis T-Type. The Nemesis kills Brad, but Jill manages to avoid the creature. Jill later meets with a UBCS member named Carlos. Despite the fact he works for Umbrella and Jill despises Umbrella, Carlos takes her to the leader Nikolai, who doesn't seem to trust her at first. They make a plan to rendezvous at the St. Michael Clock Tower, where an escape helicopter will pick them up by using a city tram. However, the tram isn't working, so they plan to find tools to work the tram. While searching for tools, Jid had believed that Nikolai was killed, so only Jill, Carlos, and the injured Mikhail got the tram working and escaped. However, the Nemesis attacked the tram and Mikhail sacrificed himself to save Jill and Carlos by using a grenade at the Nemesis. This caused the tram to haywire and crash into the clock tower courtyard. Jill manages to make a signal at the clock tower, and then a rescue helicopter came, only to be shot down by the Nemesis. The Nemesis infects Jill with the T-virus and Jill is forced to kill it. Jill became unconscious and fell into a deep sleep just as Carlos showed up, where the two were fighting. Leon S. Kennedy, the previous day, had broken up with his girlfriend, now waking up to go to work. Although he was still in a somewhat drunken state, Leon S. Kennedy left his home and went to the Raccoon City Police Department. Claire Redfield tried getting in contact with her brother the previous day. Now, very much worried, she gets on her bicycle and begins to drive to Raccoon City in search of Chris Redfield. Alright guys, that's gonna be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this little story. Check out the other videos in the Resident Evil 2 files as we lead up to Resident Evil 2 Remake. I will be continuing to make more videos for the series. Anyways, I'm gonna be out of here. Thank you guys for listening. Deuces.